Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with this week's version of the 2-minute fishing report. Well, folks, despite the weather this past week, we had a lot of rain around the area, some wind to say the least, and the Memorial Day weekend wasn't the best, but we did manage to salvage one or a day and a half out of the weekend, depending on where you're at around the state. But guys had some pretty good success around the area. The lakes that we've been mentioning the past couple of weeks can continue to produce fish, but some of the lakes that have been really doing well up in the Northeast, they include Bitter, Swan, Opitz, Dry by Florence, Indian Springs, as well as Enemy Swim's been turning on, and Wabay's been kind of on and off depending on the day. And other lakes in the southeastern part of the state that have been doing really well include Thompson, Ponson, Lake Henry, Oakwood, Sinai, 81 Ponds, Vermilion, as well as Beaver. And along the Missouri River, guys have been doing well up at on Lake Sharp, a little bit down by Chamberlain, but also by the Platte area. It's been picking up quite a bit this past week. What have guys mainly been using? As far as the lakes have been concerned, a lot of live bait rigs are taking place right now with leeches and minnows. Some guys are starting to switch over to crawlers. Also, a lot of guys pulling plugs, and that's also very true out of the Missouri River. Guys that are pulling plugs with lead core have been doing pretty well. And then as far as the crappie bite is concerned, guys are continuing to do well for crappie on Thompson, Ponson, a little bit at Vermilion, as well as pickerel. And what have they been using? Really the shiny heinies, small jigs with small minnows. Also something new that we brought here in the store, the sausage head jig by Strike King have been working very well. So come on by and take a look at those new jigs. Folks, with this version of Todd's Tackle Tips, I want to talk about slip bobber fishing. This is a great tactic for kids as well as adults, and especially during the heat of the summer, even right now. Guys are having some success using slip bobbers in amongst the trees or some type of structure. So it's a great presentation and something that a lot of people really don't know how to do. And so that's what we're going to explain today. Really all it takes is a slip bobber and a package of bobber stops that come along with the beads. And all you need to do is remember that all you're trying to figure out is the depth of the lake, the depth that you want that jig, that presentation, that bait presentation to be at. So the first thing that you need to do is to open up the bag of the beads as well as the bobber stops, slide that up to the depth that you want it to be. And the thing to remember is that your arm span is approximately your height. So as you put this, first thing you're going to do is slide that line from your reel through the tube here, and then slide that line off the tube onto your line itself, onto your fishing line, and then tighten it down. And that's going to be the depth that your jig is going to be at. That's where your bobber is going to be set at. After that, you want to put the bead, and then take the line, your fishing line, and feed that through the bobber, and then eventually, after that, tie on your hook or your jig, and then a little bit of weight above that. And that's going to be your depth that you're going to be fishing at. Now, if your bobber is sitting sideways, that means that your depth is too deep. In other words, you need to shorten it up. The jig is sitting on the bottom, and so what you need to do is, at that point in time, go back to where your bobber stop is at and slide it down towards the jig to shorten up the depth, and then try it again. And if your bobber is standing upright, that's what you want to have. And again, it's nice to have the water line to be about halfway up the jig to make the bobber as sensitive as you possibly can. That's all slip bobber is. Slip bobber fishing actually is made really easy, and the advantage that you have, especially for kids, and on a normal bobber, you can only reel up to the bobber. With the bobber stop and the slip bobber, you can reel all the way down to the jig, so it makes it real easy to land that fish. So if you have more questions about slip bobber fishing, stop by here at the store or give us a call at 605-336-9132. Now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-minute fishing report, please send it to me. Send it to Todd at DakotaAngler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And if I use your photo, your name will be entered into a monthly drawing for a $25 gift certificate. Well, folks, before we end this week's report, I want to bring a couple of things to your attention. First off, next week we will not have a report due to the fact that I'll be up in Canada fishing with my family. And I hope you understand, and I appreciate your understanding that we won't have a fishing report next week, but the following week after that will resume as normal. The second thing I want to bring you to your attention is the fact of our ongoing sales here at the store. Stop on by and take a look, including our Yeti promotions. As I mentioned last report, that if you buy any soft-sided or hard-sided Yeti cooler, you will have a gift certificate, and that gift certificate will range anywhere from $10, $20, $50, and up to $75. You'll pick an envelope, and whatever's in there, that's the gift certificate you get. So make sure you stop on by and take a look at the Yeti cooler sales, because, again, they make a great Father's Day gift, one that your dad will greatly appreciate. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on. We'll see you next time, and again, thanks for watching.